Hello, everyone. Kate here, the perception specialist, with today's topic being the scale. Now, when I say scale, I want to make sure we are all on the same page because there are several different scales out there. So, when I'm referencing a scale, I'm really, and here's a picture. Yes, I drew that, but it's not the best. That kind of scale. Just a really simplistic one that simply moves up or down depending on how much weight is on either side. Now, the cool thing about this scale is that I've always looked at life as kind of, we can put it on a scale in terms of positive and negative. And so, if negative is an option, positive is just as much an option. Because for me, the scale can always return to zero at any point. So if I feel that I'm really thinking about things negatively and it's just really weighing me down in a negative aspect, I just reset the scale, really focus and hone in on what it is I want, and let that scale tip itself in favor of what I truly desire. Now, the thing with the scale is that it's going to move regardless. Every moment of our life, we are making decisions and we are thinking and we are creating, essentially. And I do feel that at times we forget that there are all these possibilities out there that seem impossible, but they're actually possible. And so again, putting it on this scale and well, this is possible and this is possible and this is possible. And you're really filling this side of the scale up with a bunch of really good things. And you're really focusing in on what you want. For me, what that tells the universe or God or yourself is that that is what you'd rather have. Whether it be negative or positive, you're saying, this is what I want. This is what I'm thinking about so much. This is where my focus is. I'm already immersed in all of these feelings that are here. But I want to tell you that you can reset the scale at any time. You can reset it. Positive and negative can both be here. And you can simply start filling up. Well, no, wait, how would it feel if? And what about this being an option here? And I would really rather have this. And you start filling up the side of the scale that's positive, that is really actually in accordance with what you want. Another thing I truly believe in with this scale is that, again, the universe, everything, whatever, it's flowing all the time. It doesn't know anything other than movement. And so when you've got things moving on this scale, you're again showing the universe, well, this is what I'm thinking about. 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 This is what I want. And the energy is simply going to follow that. Follow the ideas of where you are putting most of your energy, regardless of whether or not that is actually what you want. Now, that is very important to understand because we can be saying things all day long, affirmations and things of the such. But if in all reality, we are failing to actually imagine those things and putting them on the scale, we're not going to get them. We have to delve into those moments and really feel what it's going to feel like. We have to really put it on the scale just as much as we are allowing negativity to be an option on that scale. We've got to employ this positive possibility of an idea that it is possible. We need to employ that. It's allowed just as much attention as this negative bullshit. So we have the option to be positive. And every moment we're making decisions, it is up to us to choose, and we can choose to see bullshit and negativity and blah, blah, blah. Or we can sit there and say, this is great, this is going to be awesome, and have a much more better perspective on a situation, already setting it up for success in a sense. So I want to remind you, if you're having a very negative day or a bad day halfway through, reset the scale. Don't just say to yourself, I'm going to have a better night. I mean, that's a great start. Trust me, it is. But really think about, what would having a better night be like? What would that feel like? Start feeling how well the evening is going to go. How you can be laying in bed thinking, man, that day started out crazy, but damn, did it have a strong finish, and you're just going to bed with a smile on your face, happy as can be, because you reset the scale and you started to hone in and focus on what you wanted to feel. And so often all we ever really want to feel is good, but we get mistaken and we become mistaken by thinking we want certain things when it's not what we want at all. So again, think about how things are going to make you feel. Think about, are you thinking positively or negatively about these things? There is also another way of which I feel we can live our life and employ ideas, and that would be leaving the scale set to 0 at all times. That's really easy. I do feel that if you can employ that at all times, it probably makes life a lot simpler because you're not wondering about 10 million things or whatever the case may be. But you're able to just kind of you're able to have this attitude of whatever happens, happens. And that's great. But I truly believe that it's nice to have desires. I think it's great to weigh out the scale and reset it to 0. Like, well, I know I made my intention on that positive end, and now I'll just wait. Because as long as it's zeroed out, it's equal, and that's okay. So that's always an option too. But again, I like to fill up my scale with as much positivity. And that's not always easy for me. I do, at times, focus on other things that I'd rather not be. So again, one of the ways I've lived my life is by really utilizing this scale to hone in on possibilities, impossibilities, because those are actually possibilities, and really what I want and how having what I want is going to feel. So remember, that is such an important part of this scale. Those are your feelings and your emotions. And filling up all that negative stuff, sometimes that doesn't feel good. It might feel familiar, so we think it's okay, but it's not. So going back to feeling good, thinking about what feels good, creating in your imagination why that feels good. Also, just wanted to add that when you're filling up your scale, to remember that everybody is going to have an opinion and their own beliefs and their own ideas and their own experiences. And sometimes they're like, I've been through this, I know how it works. And that's what's going to happen because it was their experience. I want you to really disregard anything from anyone else when looking at your scale, when looking at your life. Because just because it has happened to somebody else or for somebody else or in this manner or in that manner, because there's statistics and proof and this and that, there's always an exception. Always an exception. And it does not mean that those opinions, judgments, experiences, any of it are yours. I really, really want to stress that. None of anyone else's crap is yours. Even when it's positive, it's great. I mean, pull from that. Yes, it happened for them. It can happen for me. That's the awesome thing about this is we get to choose consistently what we want and what we want to believe and how we want to believe. So remember, you've got the scale. Remember to own it. Let it be your choices. If somebody is telling you a story and you're like, man, I don't like that, but I really like that. So how do I feel about the story as a whole? Well, it doesn't matter. Take what you liked and run with it. You didn't have to like the whole thing. Oh man, that life experience was awesome, but I would have left out this. Do that. And again, just remember, it is your scale. It is your choice. Fill that scale up. Tip that scale in your favor consistently in accordance with what you believe, with what you want, and with what you want to experience in your life. Again, everyone, I want to thank you for watching and having this conversation with Kate. If you have any comments or questions, suggestions, ideas, anything at all, leave them down below. I would certainly enjoy hearing and reading those. Also, of course, if you have liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And subscribe if you haven't already, because as I've mentioned before, there are going to be quite a few more of these coming. So Thank you everyone for watching. I really hope you choose wisely and tip the scales in your favor.